freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 503 of Gun Freedom Radio, where we educate, we engage, and we inform. We are brought to you by PogAuctions.com. That's Pot of Gold Estate Auctions, where you set the price on guns, coins, ammo, jewelry, boats, cars, collectibles, antiques, you name it. PogAuctions.com. I am one of your hosts, Cheryl Todd.
And I'm the other guy, Dan Todd. Our theme today is From the Pentagon to Production, and our guest is John Colosky.
Jason Colosky.
Why did I say that? I'm reading it right here. Okay. Jason is the founder and chief executive officer of Watchtower Defense, a new American manufacturing of precision firearms that specialize in producing advanced M4 rifles and modernized 1911 pistols. Prior to founding Watchtower, Mr. Colosky served as a senior executive at Raytheon, where he oversaw Raytheon's strategic engagements with the Pentagon, the State Department, and the White House.
Very good. Welcome to the show, Jason. We appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate the biblical reference so close to Easter. So John, Jason, I've been called far worse.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I was reading it, and I don't know why I said that, because I have a son-in-law named Jason.
Right.
It should have been easy.
That's funny. Anyway, well, I am very curious about this arc, right? This career arc that you have been on. So talk to us about Watchtower. Even the name of it kind of makes me want to lean in a little bit and have you tell us why Watchtower and where did this come from in this career arc that you've had?
Sure. So, I'll start out by what Watchtower is not. We're not affiliated with the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's right.
Well, funny, neither did I when I came up with the title. I'm a bit of a history nerd, and so when I founded the company, I had looked at everything being steeped in some form of Americana. Now, everyone is familiar with Operation Overlord, which was the invasion of Normandy. Not too far of a jump. Most people who read your basic history would know that. But there's far less understanding of what happened throughout the Pacific campaign during World War II. And Operation Watchtower was the invasion of Guadalcanal. It was the first place that the Marine Raiders had their proof of concept. And it's the final resting place of 1,710 American souls. So we wanted to dedicate the company to something larger than myself. I considered some type of familiar name, something like Colonel Colt or, John Browning. But it really is, when you're getting into something, especially from an American-made, American manufacturer standpoint, it's not one person, it's the team. And I've always been taught that throughout my life and my leadership experiences. So I wanted to reflect something larger than myself. And so that's how we came about the Watchtower name. Everything we do is steeped in a form of Americana. Before I get into all the technical details, I want to give you a bit of the culture and the feel of the company. So every one of our pistols, rifles, suppressors, they're serialized starting with 1775.
I like it.
Thank you. There's nothing, if you get a serial number before then, you've bought a demo version that should not be out there in the wild. So we have a lifetime warranty that covers everything from falling out of an aircraft to an alligator eating it. We just require a picture. So if you have something that's before 1775, send it back. We'll get you a brand spanking new weapon system. So, how did we get here? So, as you mentioned, I worked in foreign military sales across the government, which is basically giving the capacity and the capability to our allies to be able to fight alongside with us. Did that for a number of years in a number of different departments. I ended up working for the Secretary of Defense, in the Office of the Secretary of Defense for Bob Gates, Leon Panetta, and Chuck Hagel. Spent a little bit of time on the National Security Council staff, and then went on to, as you mentioned earlier, work in Raytheon's Washington Operations Office, where I handled all of our international engagement and, as you kindly mentioned, everything with the White House, the Pentagon, and the State Department. So did that for a number of years, ended up running a P&L here in McKinney, Texas. I was fortunate enough to get out of the Beltway. I'm originally from Louisiana, so I often joke I'm a two-time winner, creature of the swamp, both Louisiana
That's great.
and Washington,
See what
D.C.
you did there.
Yeah. And after our merger with United Technologies, it just didn't feel the same. And so I wanted to go do something that I've always felt passionate about, which is firearms and the Second Amendment. This led me to starting to look at what would be a great American company to work for. And so as I started kind of looking at that, that took me on a little bit of a different journey. And I started looking at, well, maybe I'll go work for Browning. Well, they're a Belgian company. Well, maybe Colt, Colonel Colt, great American company. Nope, Czechoslovakian. Ruger, well, vast majority of that's owned by Beretta. Winchester, Belgian. Barrett, Australian. It almost became like a Ricky Bobby type of narrative where, regardless of what mainstream media says, most of the great American brands that we grew up with are nothing more than profit centers for European hedge funds and money market funds.
Mm,
So when I was
wow.
a kid, I was always a fan of Lee Iacocca, The Pride is Back. And so I saw this as just a glaring opportunity to bring back firearms into the United States, have it made in America, and hire Americans, hire veterans, and then expand it, into other states, other places, but do that on the back of what I became very good at in the military and in government service is foreign military sales. We have lots of allies that want American kit, and we're happy to provide that to them and then reinvest that money here back in the United States in American jobs.
Wow.
That is awesome. So you're making M4s and 1911s, and you're making those from scratch here in the
Yeah.
U.S.?
Yes, sir. So we build one of the very best 1911 double stack 1911s. I don't want to get in trouble with staccato. Um, we build one of the very best 1911s on the market. It's called the Apache.
Okay.
Um, Heritage, obviously Apache Indian, but we named it after Operation Apache Snow during Vietnam. Apache Snow was better known in American memory as Hamburger Hill.
Mm, yes.
So, and you'll, like I mentioned earlier, you'll find that in every single one of our products. They trace back to that form of Americana. So, you can go buy a very cheap 1911 from pretty much anybody. There is right now in the market a number of very high-end double stack 1911s or 2011s if you're staccato. They range anywhere from 9,000 down to our price point, which is 3,000 and some change. Um, these are high-end performance guns that come out of the case ready to go. There are no break-in periods because they're all handcrafted. They're all stone. The slides are ready to roll day one, so there's no burrs or anything that has to be worked out. So that's one of our product offerings. The other one is the Raider 15 or the Raider 10, which is our AR and M4 offering. Obviously, that's named after the Marine Corps Raiders. As a former recon Marine, that's near and dear to my heart. We have three variants of that. We have standard issue, which is the bare bones Raider. We have um, an extended duty, which is a piston-driven system. And then we have, and it's escaping me right off the top of my head now that you're asked, special duty. We have a special duty, which is a suppressor ready, but not piston-driven system. So we have a little bit for everything that's set up for both military and civilian sales. And then we are getting ready to launch our Geronimo series of suppressors. The Geronimo series, again, just happens to be an American Indian name, but it was based off of the Neptune Spear raid in Abbottabad, which was Geronimo for Forgotten Country. So um, everything's steeped in that piece of Americana. Everything's built here in America, and everything is very high end. We're not part of the race to the bottom like some of the other
Mm,
companies.
mm,
When you're buying our product, you're getting quality, you're getting made in
mm,
America, and you're getting a lifetime warranty that no other company in the market has, which
mm,
is it doesn't matter what happens to it. If you're not happy, you send it back and we make it right.
That's
mhm.
awesome.
So I
Now, the
see.
lawyers don't like that. Let me interrupt. The lawyers do not care about I have had endless conversations that they do not like our warranty, but so far it's been very good for the consumer.
I love that. And I've noticed out of the corner of my eye, Danny acts like he's taking notes. I think he just made a shopping list. I'm pretty sure that.
Right. I always, I love the ARs, and I'm not as fond of the 11s, but there's some nice ones out there. I have to check it out. I'm
I
going to check all these out.
I think we definitely need to check these out. So I know that you were at SHOT Show because that's where we first tried to connect and have you on. We were going to do one of our interviews on site there. And I but what I don't know is how long your company's been in business. Was this your first SHOT Show? Have you been there for quite a while? How long have you been doing this and what is the feedback from not only the industry itself, but the public?
So the feedback, let me rewind. So your first question was how long have we been around? We've been around for the past 3 years.
Okay.
Um, we had an abundance of interest in the company when we first came out. We sold somewhere between 7 and 8,000 Apaches within the first 18 months. We were not prepared to keep up with the demand. And we also had some internal challenges with some of our former shareholders that we've had to address through the court system, unfortunately. And so
Hmm.
that slowed us down a little bit. But most of that is behind us. And we're still working through some of the nonsense, but by and large, we're on very steady footing. We've brought in two new, extremely both patient and deep-pocketed investors that want to see this vision through.
Nice.
And so, from that standpoint, third shot show, the reception has been phenomenal every single time. We joke with our neighbors at Shot Show that they need to pay royalties because otherwise there's no chance they would have had that number of people coming through. Uh,
I
there
love
was
it.
So yeah, so we've done quite well in just the very short 3 years that we've been in existence. And again, that's not to say we haven't had road bumps. Any new entry into any market is going to have that. But very pleased with where we're at and where we're going.
Are you going to be at the NRA show?
No, so we're not, and that's simply because it's not a sales show.
Hmm.
Right.
But we will be at the GOA show. Um,
Where's,
Hmm.
that
oh, we'll be there. Yeah,
Absolutely.
we'll see you there then.
August, first weekend of August, I think it is, something like that. And in Idaho, I think this year. It's been in Tennessee, but
that's correct.
Yeah.
That's
So
um
I'll get to see it there. So just start bringing some money.
yeah, we'll definitely stop by and say hi and see what these are all about. Put a couple in our hands. Maybe we can turn Dan into a 1911 lover. You never know. You never
Well,
know.
it would be
If it's
hard
a
for him
gun,
not to be one after he held one of ours.
if it's a
I like
gun,
it.
if it's a gun,
Yeah, I know, right? Like how bad can it be if
1911,
it's like
1912, 1913, who cares?
whatever it takes, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Movie quotes. Well,
And
this is,
we've had a great relationship with GOA. They've been spectacular. They asked me to be part of their leadership delegation to Washington recently,
oh, yes.
where we met with everyone from the Attorney General down to numerous senators and congressmen to talk about Second Amendment issues for the community,
Mm-hmm.
not just for Watchtower. Matter of fact, very little about Watchtower, and just mainly about how they can continue to support us. Right now, we have an administration that's incredibly supportive, and I have to, my hat's off to Todd Blanche and the rest of Justice for really doing the Lord's work and getting some of this stuff that hasn't gone well in the past, got that turned around for us. So, very thankful for everybody in DC that's working hard on behalf of the Second Amendment and the firearms industry.
Well, I love that. And it was such a interesting series of timed events for me that, I knew that the GOA team had just been to DC and had that very impactful meeting with so many people. And then a minute later, we don't have Pam Bondi anymore. And I'm not particularly sad about that at all.
There's been parts of DOJ that have been extraordinarily helpful. Those are the parts we met with. We did not. I think I said Attorney General. We met with the Deputy Attorney General, number two, Todd, and he is very strongly in support of our efforts.
And I understand he might be, at least for a little while, moving into that position until we figure out who's going to actually be confirmed. And I sure wouldn't hate it to see Harmeet Dillon move on up into there, but I'm not hearing a lot of that as speculation. But she, just to watch her on social media, she feels like the real deal, like somebody that actually owns firearms and understands the impact of them on our individual lives. So that'll be interesting to watch that unfold, and hopefully, we will all be happy with who lands in the main chair.
Fingers crossed.
I
Yeah.
just want to see that registry go away for the suppressors.
I think it's going to. I think it will when this is all said and done. Saying some prayers on that, but I think what you're saying is going to wind up being the truth.
It's such a silly thing. It's a muffler, like for your car. Make it make sense. And I know generally speaking that, gun manufacturers manufacture guns and muffler companies manufacture mufflers, but is there any bleed over in that arena for you down the line? Are you seeing any of that for your company, for Watchtower?
Absolutely. So right now we've invested in a number of new coating apparatuses. We have a new robotic Cerakote center in our new building. So we recently moved out of our old location. We bought a new facility. It's about three times the size of our previous
Wow.
one, which was necessary. Again, we just simply couldn't keep up with the demand with the footprint that we had. Another investment is going to be into 3D printing. That is in process right now. And as that comes online, then we will be manufacturing in-house suppressors, which is something that most companies do not do. Most of them outsource that, and there's good business reasons to do it, but we're looking to do it in-house. Um, and it's a funny thing. You talk about the mixture of politics and DOJ and suppressors, and many administrations that we won't name love to point to the Europeans as the hallmark of all things good. Well, the Europeans mandate suppressors on every single one of their rifles because it's polite. We seem to have this Hollywood version that
Mm-hmm.
suppressors somehow are dead quiet. And that's any of us who deal with firearms and hunt and shoot and express our Second Amendment rights know that that just isn't true. So I do view it the same way as the Europeans. That's one thing I do agree with them on. It's polite,
And they can buy
Absolutely.
one over the counter. They can't buy a gun over the counter, but they can buy a suppressor over the counter, which
right?
is amazing.
Well,
It's a very strange thing.
and here in Arizona, the largest outdoor shooting facility, I think, in the nation is Ben Avery. And, we've had this explosion of growth of houses, kind of encroaching on it. Like it was there first. And now we've got people, all the time. It's like out here with Luke Air Force Base. We live in the western part of the valley. People move in and then suddenly discover the sound of freedom, right? Either in the skies from Luke Air Force Base or from the range as people are becoming more proficient with their firearms, and they want to give pushback. And so I would say the same people that are mad about the noise would be the ones that are, resistant to having it muffled with a suppressor. And it just it just makes me scratch my head.
Well, I want to note that we have some great Republican politicians that fought to keep our ranges safe and clear, and they're not going to remove them. So
It's true.
they told the people, you knew it when you came here. You moved here. You heard the shooting when you went to buy the house.
Well, we should use that with the Second Amendment. Like it was here first.
Yeah.
You should have known that when you got here.
Right.
So, it is the law of the land.
And they have the opportunity to leave if they don't like it.
That's true. That's true. All right. So we were talking about, you got some 3D printing maybe coming, you've got some robotics coming. AI is stealing so many jobs, but there is a certain segment of worker that hopefully will still need to be
Well, hold on.
needed even
Hold
with
on.
robots.
You heard him at the first of it. He said our guns are all hand
But
stone.
robots have hands?
No,
I don't
no,
know.
he's not.
I gotta
No.
ask the
I'm going to
question.
answer it for you. I'll save him some time. He said hand done.
Okay.
You can't robotic hand done.
Well, why
Am
don't
I
I just
correct with
ask
that?
the man himself?
Are you fighting with me right now?
You guys are a fantastic pair. You're like Hall and Oates. Um, and I mean the later version.
There you go.
So yes, so all of our handguns are hand fitted. They're not drop-in components. Um, we have phenomenal CNC machines. We have phenomenal machinists. But I'll give you a great example that any gun owner is aware of. And our setup is no better than Smith and Wesson or Daniel Defense, and those are not hand-fitted guns. And when you go to the range with a Smith, and it jams after your 20 or 30th shot, what do they tell you? They tell you go back to the range, shoot it another 800 times, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, what the decoded version of that is there's still burrs and little pieces of metal that we didn't get on it or get off of it because it's a drop-in piece. They just drop it in straight from the machine and they ship it out of the factory. We don't do that. So our pieces come off and they're the tolerances are extraordinarily tight on our handguns and our AR system and M4 systems. But what we do is take one more step and we stone out any of the moving pieces. So any of those itty bitty burrs that will catch and cause a malfunction are not there.
Right.
We further either have a PVD coating, physical vapor disposition coating that we've used in the past. We're moving away from it. It's a bit of a pain in the butt, but we were replacing it with graphene coating, which is a new big deal within Department of Defense circles for a host of reasons. But we're replacing that with a graphene coating. And these coatings are super lubricious, whether it's PVD or whether it's graphene, so that when you move that slide back and forth, it feels like there's CLP on it, and there is not. So they are hand fitted. They're hand fitted for a reason. So when that gun comes out of the box, it's ready to go.
So Jason, so from what I understand about the little bit of work that I've done on guns, when you have a gun that's really tight fit, you have to stone it and work the pieces because the way most manufacturers do it, they make them sloppy so that things move. And another point is her brother and I went and bought two brand new ARs. They weren't Colts, but they were next down. I'm not going to tell you the name. And we took them and went shooting, and they kept jamming. And I told my brother-in-law, I said, we have to shoot high performance ammo through this, about 500 rounds, and then the gun will work itself out, or we can go in and hand stone everything. And he got frustrated with it and got rid of his because, you should be able to just buy a gun and it work, right? Well, you got to think about that. You can buy a $600 gun and fight with it, or you can buy a $2,000 gun that's going to work as soon as you take it out of the box, most of them. So, and your gun's hand fitted, I'm sure that's how they work.
100%. Yep, that's exactly right. You nailed it.
Yeah.
And then, getting back to, robots have hands and so do people. The skilled labor end of things. I mean, it, it you are still using actual human beings to use their skilled laborers and how important that is. I mean, we're having some work done at our house right now, and every time I look out the window, I don't know, something about my heart kind of soars to see, people that have a particular level of skill that I could never possess in a million years. It would take me so much longer to do what they do, and they just have all this talent, and I don't know, it just gives me hope for the American dream is still out there.
Very much so. And we're very proud to have the gunsmiths and the machinists that we have. Um, and I guess I would give you, since it's a bit of my background, a military analogy. I'm a huge fan of all of our military forces, but I'm a Marine. That's my pedigree. And when I was in the Marines, it was always very frustrating that we would have 50 cows from World War II or Vietnam, or the Cobras were a vintage helicopter from Vietnam, and the Army has, Apaches and Blackhawks and all these new things. Until you actually go to a conflict and you actually see the downtime that those Apaches have versus a Cobra gunship, it's almost an 8-to-1 ratio.
Mhm.
And so what we have is tried and true. If one day AI and robotics truly catch up with what humans can do from a custom manufacturing standpoint, well, we'll revisit that. But to pretend that that is the case right now, it's a little bit what the automotive industry just found out when they tried to
Mm,
make the change to EV, and all of a sudden, all the CEOs are walking that back because it's
mhm,
not as good and as profitable as they thought. With our lifetime guarantee, we can't afford to have oopsies.
Right,
mhm,
We just can't. It would be
right.
totally cost inefficient. So beyond the heart and soul of America having, American hands on these firearms, behind every single one of them, there is a very practical reason we do this, and that's the reason why is, um, if you're Tesla, maybe we're there, but in the firearms industry, we're not, and I don't see
mhm.
that changing anytime soon.
And he also mentioned that he hires veterans too.
Yeah,
So,
which is so wonderful and important.
Yeah.
And I just when you said the Hall and Oates thing, because we know they fight a lot now, right? I don't know. I don't know what
mhm.
happened there, but I was looking up song titles to try to make a pun here, and there's two of them. So every time you go away, you make my dreams come true.
Oh,
There we go. So
didn't they say I can't go for that too? Didn't they do that
and
one?
I can't get it right. So anyway,
Well, we've been married 41 years, and honestly, I
Congratulations.
I can't
thank
remember
you.
the last time that we've had a fight. I really, it's been a long time. So
So we got
maybe
to
we
do it
need to
on air
maybe we have
to
to do
make
it
it
on
real,
air.
make it real spicy.
Yeah. So
Um,
update, the two of them are having a lawsuit right now with each other, aren't
Holy
they?
crazy. Speaking of lawyers,
Yeah.
that is wild.
But
S-
getting back to the guns, I mean, it's great to see that, your guns are hand fit together. I mean, I think that's awesome. And people need to understand that that costs money, it costs time,
mhm.
and you can't hire somebody for $12 an hour uh to hand fit 1911.
That is correct. Yeah. And of course that's passed along to the customer. So you're getting what you pay for. There's nothing new under the sun here. You want a very high performance, high end, well put together product, then you pay for it. If you want something that you have to shoot 800 times before it's broken in, you get what you pay for. We're not going to be part of the race to the bottom. That's not our business model. And the proof's been in the pudding. We've had no shortage of orders. We've had to invest more money again to build a new facility so that we can keep up with the orders.
Right.
Where did you move from and where did you move to?
We were in Spring, Texas. We moved about 20 minutes north to Tomball, it's all northern Houston. Uh,
Okay.
so it's all in the same general area.
Okay.
Is the NRA show in Houston this year? Oh,
Dallas.
Dallas.
Where is it? No, Houston. Anyway,
Uh,
he's not going. He doesn't
No,
know.
but we could go to his plant.
Oh, that's true. We'll have to check that out.
Oh.
So with your resume, it's deeply ingrained in leadership. right? From your military service to working, at the highest levels in the government. Um, so you must have a your own personal deeply ingrained leadership perspective. And I just wondered if you could share some of that with us.
Well, um, it's funny you bring that up. So I have a new second lieutenant Marine Corps son who likes to tell me lots of things about leadership nowadays. So this is a um,
New
very
generation, right?
it's a very I guess topical topic. So from my standpoint, and it may sound cliche, but servant leadership is the
Mm,
leadership style that I would best describe myself as. I don't
mm,
ask my guys to do anything that I haven't done, I won't done. When things go wrong, I'm the one who raises my hand and says, this is my fault and we're going to address it. And that's pretty much been the way I've run the company since day one. Some of that's been appreciated, some of it's not. It really doesn't matter because the buck stops with me. Uh,
hmm
so, from a leadership standpoint, I think good leaders are those who, when things are going correctly and profitably and in the right direction, all praise and glory needs to be given to those people on the factory floor that are making it happen. And if something's not going right, well, then I should have done a better job at hiring, training,
mm,
um, and it's pretty much that simple. There's a 250-year-old phrase that's been on the commission of every officer in our military, which is you're responsible for everything your men do and that what they don't do. Men and
mm,
women these days, I would add.
hmm
And so I live by those words, and that's how I run my company.
Wow. That's so beautiful, and that is so in line with our mindset and heart set. And so I really appreciate that because I do feel like these days our examples of leadership in mainstream media or from our elected officials is really to sidestep and deflect, and it's unfortunate because it's harder. We're grandparents now. We have a 6-year-old and an 11-year-old granddaughters, and they live with us. We're a three-generation household. We love it. Um, but it's harder for us to point beyond our family for those examples that we want them to see and to follow. So we talk a lot about history in our family as well because we feel like, well, we're more in line, you know, our values align more with a few generations back. But it is really hard. Just how is that playing out with your? Did you say son-in-law?
No, that's my son. So he is a infantry platoon commander at Camp Pendleton. It's extremely proud of him. Um, and he grew up with that. He understands that again, you take care of your men and women, and they'll take care of you. But ultimately, you are responsible for whatever endeavor it is, whether it's um, a hostage rescue mission in some faraway land, or if it is making sure the Christmas decorations have at least two fingers between the lights that you're wrapping around the tree. It's a bit of a joke. I made him do that when he was a kid, so that was his traumatic moment that
Love it.
I'm told about every.
Jason,
He
is
needs therapy now because of the Christmas lights. I know, I get it.
comparing the leadership when you were in the service compared to what your son is going through, is there a big difference, or is it pretty well the same?
Um, I think that the if you're asking military leadership, I think that evolves and changes in certain ways to fit the times and the what conflicts that we're getting ready to prepare for. The Department of Defense or the Department of War has always been accused of fighting the last conflict, and there's
Mhm.
goodness in learning from the lessons of the past, but you can't be a slave to it. You have to be prepared for what's coming down the road, which in our world is fundamentally near peer competitors in China and Russia, and less or so in Iran. So I think the Marine Corps is a unique place. Folks would often call it a cult more than a military service, where not much changes. Um, your NCO Corps is in charge. Your your officers are responsible, and there is a very strong understanding of that since the founding of the Corps, and that remains consistent to this day. There's very little from a leadership standpoint that I see changing there. The other services tend to experiment with that a lot, and some of
Mhm.
it's good and some of it's bad, but I would say that that remains pretty much a constant and pretty much an ethos that will never change in the Marine Corps.
I think that's great. I mean, they have a good core. Um, as far as leadership in the business, we both know, all three of us know that running a business is super easy. You never have a problem, and
Yeah,
it's just great. And all
especially
you
a
do is,
family
and all you
business.
do is get all the money, and then you have to fight. What do you do with it, right? It's
Sure.
easy. It's
You
so
nailed it.
easy.
God, you could have
Yeah.
had this interview yourself.
Oh boy, I
Oh
tell you,
my.
if people really knew,
Mhm.
like you said, you're going through some legal problems, and and if you're in business, you're going through those
Mhm.
because there's always something.
Mhm.
And the average person that's never been in business before, they don't really realize what there is to take a piece of steel and make it into a firearm.
It's incredible. And I have to believe that people listening right now are feeling inspired, like, well, maybe I need to move to Texas and go work for this servant-led, American-made, company where I get to use my hard skills. Are you hiring? Is that just kind of an ongoing process, or are you the inn is full? Where are we with that?
Great question, and we're somewhere in between. As we're still moving into the facility, we're still kind of getting our feet under us from the move. So we're not actively hiring at this second, but there's no chance we will not be hiring in the future.
Yeah.
The demand for the product is just too substantial. So, what I would say is, if there's people who are interested in coming to work for us, keep an eye on the company. We put advertisements out on LinkedIn on a pretty regular basis. We reach out through Indeed and Monster and all the standard hiring platforms. Submit your application, and trust me, when we need people, we start digging through those applications because, in my experience to date, as you noted, running a business is super easy.
So
Um,
easy. Everybody
when
should do it.
when it rains, it pours, and when we need people, we need a bunch of them at one time.
And it
So
always rains. It always rains.
Mhm.
Jason,
Eventually it does.
I uh,
Mm.
I used to do all the gun work in our shop. We had a pretty big store, and I did everything from, I mean, anything that needed to be done on guns. We had a lathe mill and all that stuff. And a piece of me went away when I quit working on guns. And there's people out there that just love to work on guns, and they probably do it for nothing if they could. But I'll just tell you that there, I lost something when I quit working on guns.
I can see that. That
Yeah,
makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a very zen place for people that have a skill like that. So, well, I am so excited that we finally got to connect.
And thank you
I'm
for your patience.
Oh, absolutely. I was so
He has patience. Could you show me where that's at, please?
I can spell the word patience. Um, but I was so curious about you, your, like I said, your career arc, your company in general, and your team that was even communicating with me as we were lining this up. Just they felt like I felt like your culture was resonating with me, and so I was like, as long as it takes, we're gonna keep rescheduling because I really wanted to have this conversation and. I want to, follow what comes next as you do move into this new facility and bring on new product lines. And, there's so much that is going on in, politics about guns and where you're even going to be able to sell your items because politics, even with the Supreme Court Bruin decision, which should have cleared the field of all these nonsense anti-gun laws, there's a lot of challenges out there, and you are the tip of the spear in so many ways. So I really do want to check back in with you in the future.
Well, I'd love to come back on anytime you're willing to have me, as long as you're willing to exercise the same degree of patience.
I understand that. I get that. Well, tell folks just as we go out, again, how do they follow anything you're doing on social media or your main website and all the work that you do?
Sure. We would appreciate anybody that wants to check us out on watchtowerdefense.com. We also have companion social media platforms on Instagram, X, Truth Social, LinkedIn, pretty much Twitter, any of the major social media platforms. We have a presence, Watchtower Defense, and again, watchtowerdefense.com on the World Wide Web. You can go in there, you can see our products. I haven't ever had anyone go on there and not be impressed. So we welcome their eyes, and we welcome them looking at our products and seriously considering purchase them.
Well, I love it. And if people want to, feel the guns and hold the guns, then you're going to have some of those at the GOA Goals event in 2026, correct?
We will have them at GOA Goals. We will have them at SHOT Show again next year. We will have any of our dealers and distributors, of course, will carry them. And yeah, we would encourage people to give us a hard look and recognize again, we're not, nor will we be part of the race to the bottom. But when you buy something from us, it's guaranteed the rest of its life. It's a throwback to the craftsman days, and we're pretty proud of that.
I
Well,
love it.
Jason, thank you for your service to our country and thank you for what you're doing. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
And
All
thank
right.
you all for getting the message out. We greatly appreciate it.
Awesome.
Absolutely. We will see you at Goals, if not before. All right. Jason
Yes, ma'am.
Colosky, thank you.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
y'all.
Bye-bye.
I want to see that plant. I want to see his workshop.
I know. That'll be interesting. I'll have to look and see for sure where NRA annual meeting is. We are booked pretty solid at the NRA annual meeting, I will say.
Oh, that's right.
And I will also kind of anchor us in time. We are sitting in the studio on April 7th, 2026. This should air on the 15th, tax day of 2026. And NRA is like the week after that. And we have a media booth for the first time at the NRA annual meeting. And I'm very excited about that. We're sharing the booth with some great guys that we know, the Trigger Pressers Union, um, Clint Macro and Matthew Mallory, and they're just really tremendous guys. And that'll be an adventure too. We've never shared a booth and shared the time, but it kind of works out well because I've got some other appointments while I'm there and that sort of thing. But if there's any way we can break away and get there, that would be a lot of fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again to Jason Kolosky. Um, I really I want to support American-made products, and I want to support industries that are supporting skilled workers and, the technology that they bring to the table because so many things are being just and naturally gobbled up by AI and robotics and computers and that sort of thing. And you can't blame companies for going in that direction if they
No,
possibly
you
can.
can't, but you can take a 1911 pistol that's coming out now that, one that are $400 or $500, and you can take it by the grip and you can shake it and you can hear it rattle.
Oh dear.
Well, the 1911s that we had during
That's why you don't like 1911s.
1911s when we started,
Hmm.
they had to mass produce these guns and they had to work.
Hmm.
And you can't have them tight because dirt, stuff
Mhm.
like that. So that is why those guns, I think they cost like $20 a piece to make back then, maybe even less than that.
Stop it.
But the guns nowadays, you can buy a $400 gun that's sloppy, but it shoots and it works. But if you want to hit a target at 100 yards and you want to, you got to think about stuff like that you want a more accurate gun. And, having a hand, I can understand and appreciate the value of a gun that's hand fitted.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
anyway,
So I'm excited to learn more about that, and I'll be endeavoring for my first chance to have one of those out on a live firing range
yeah.
to
We'll probably
give
get
it a
one.
test drive. So again, thank you to Jason and his team. I love that he's giving credit to his team, and that's kind of how we are. It's like when things go well, the praise is to the others, and when it's not going well, that's when we've got to look in the mirror and figure out, okay, how can
Where
we
did we
tighten
go
this
wrong?
up?
Where
Yeah,
did we?
exactly.
Right.
Um,
Hey,
yeah.
what's up?
You want to talk about the companies that support the work we're doing?
Only if they're American.
Well, they are. I mean, what a theme we have going here. So again, a company that supports American-made products and American jobs on American soil. It is an invitation-only shopping network, and we are inviting you today. PatriotHousehold.com/GFR. Be sure to do the /GFR for Gun Freedom Radio, because then we get a small piece of every dollar that you spend with this company.
And I'm going to stop you right there and tell you a story.
Okay.
So we order steaks from them
Oh, so
all the time,
good.
and I've never had a bad steak. And I'm going to tell you, I've never,
Riverbend Ranch.
even the last time we had a steak, it wasn't bad because Cheryl had me cook the steaks. Okay, I burnt them.
You didn't
Okay,
burn them.
they were burnt. All right, and we ate those, and they were still good.
Flame broiled is what they
Yeah,
were.
they were right. I did a Whopper on them, but they were still extremely good. I've never had bad steaks from them.
Yeah. Tremendous. So patriothousehold.com/GFR, because you're going to purchase all of the same items, right? This is your laundry soap, this is your shampoo, these are your snacks, these are, all the things that you're buying at the big box stores. The big box stores, for the most part, are using your dollars to work against your freedoms. Well, patriothousehold.com/GFR is using your dollars to enhance your values and your freedoms. Another great company that has a very similar name and a similar mission is PatriotMobile.com, right? So we all walk around with one of these gadgets in our hands, and with Patriot Mobile, it fuels my phone calls, my texts, and my selfies. And we have switched over a few months ago, and our service has been seamless. It has been just as good, if not actually better, than what we were experiencing previously, because Patriot Mobile uses the same towers as your AT&T, your Verizon, or your T-Mobile. So you get to pick whatever service you want to use. You keep your phone, you keep your number, you keep your values when you switch to patriotmobile.com. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider that shares your values. So patriotmobile.com, what are you going to do? /GFR. That helps fuel our mission. Now, the last thing I want to mention is attorneys on retainer. So if you have been forward thinking enough that you have tools of self defense, you have gone and you've gotten training, right? You've done all the things you need to do to protect yourself and your family. If you ever, God forbid, have to protect your family, whether it's with your firearm or a rock or whatever it may be, you will have the law visited upon you. And so you will want and need an attorney on retainer. Full disclosure, our family, our clients of attorneys on retainer, and you can go to our website, gunfreedomradio.com, scroll down, click on attorneys on retainer. When you do that and you become a client, then you will be fueling, we get a small piece of that, again, to fuel the work that we do. We so appreciate it. And whenever we are doing all of the responsible things as gun owners, it is protecting our rights in the sense that it's giving the other side less ammunition, pardon the pun, less ways to come through the courts and through legislation to try to fix problems, right? If we have taken care of these things on our own, then we are really serving our fellow man in many, many ways. All right. Once again, I want to thank Jason Colosky of Watchtower Defense for being our guest. I want to thank all of our amazing viewers and listeners all over the planet. Wherever there is internet service, we have people who are tapped in and curious and hungry for the conversations we have here. Thank you so much for that. If you want to share this video or rewatch this video or any of the videos we've done, as I said, we're episode 503. There's a full body of work there for you to dive into. You can find our videos on YouTube, on Rumble, on any of those platforms. Please click the subscribe and notification button. Why would you want to do that? Well, because it tells those platforms that this is valuable to you. Right now, YouTube they are not friendly to what we do, but if there are more and more and more of us moving in that direction, then it tells their algorithm, oh, wait, maybe we can make money off of this. Maybe we can throw some ads in. Maybe we can, right? And so it becomes less of an echo chamber that is pushing us out. So please, notifications, subscriptions on all of those. If you want to listen to the audio only version, then go to our website, gunfreedomradio.com, click the on demand tab and
Binge listen to your heart content,
darling.
darling.
And then if you want to see photos and bios and links
Oh
to
my.
Jason Colosky and all of the guests we've ever had on, click the guest tab. It is an ever-growing database of subject matter experts, and when you spend time there, we don't hate that. All right, we've got to get on out of here, Dan. What are we going to do until we come back next time?
We're going to pray that I don't get any more sales calls on my phone. Oh, wait. Oh, that's something. Oh, we're going to pray for our nation.
That's something we should ask Patriot Mobile. If you could block all sales calls, all unwanted sales calls, man, you would have everybody's business.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. What are we doing?
We're going to pray
Praying
for our nation.
We're going to pray for who?
49 states for our politicians in 49 states.
Yeah. Only 49 of them?
Virginia's out.
Well, Virginia needs our prayers
No,
especially.
we'll pray for Virginia, but we're not going to pray for the politicians in Virginia.
Goodness.
They have taken away our rights.
I understand.
Okay,
that.
they have
So
taken.
let's pray for them to have a revelation.
Hold it.
To be the public servants.
We'll pray for the people to have a
representative.
pray for the people too.
All right.
We're not going to pray for
Fair
the politicians that take away from us the rights that were given to
I'm
us by
still
God.
praying for them. I'm
Do you hear
praying
me?
especially for them.
By God.
Yeah, I understand.
They were given to us by God.
I understand that. Let me
Politicians
find
took
some
them
more
away.
Hall & Oates songs to say to you.
Politicians took them away from us.
Don't be out of touch, Dan.
I'm not. I'm bringing you to
Because
the
I
reality
ain't
of
going to take it this time. Because it's the art of heartbreak. Because when the morning comes, we need to pray for.
when the morning comes, we need to pray that the politicians in Virginia all of a sudden decide to move to Cuba.
Well, their politics would be
So
more
we are praying
aligned
for them, I guess.
with them. There you go. All right. I got my
Pray
way.
that they
I
all
like
get it right. We're praying that the politicians in Virginia get moved to Cuba.
Something like that. Okay. Anyway, until next time, be good to each other. Have a great week and God bless.
Bye-bye.